Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So if you've never heard of this series before, I'm not that surprised. It has been a moment, pretty much a year since I made one of these favorites style videos. YouTubers used to make monthly favorites and I've always felt like that's a bit too much. I want to only share with you like my very top favorites. So I started to do this series seasonally and then gave up on it for no reason. So I thought I would bring it back and share with you my fall favorites so far. So kind of my favorites between August and now or thereabouts, and just revive this series of the best from all of these different categories of life. The very first category is my favorite things to wear. I just launched a new collection of cashmere scarves, so you may have seen my fall transitions video where I shared a number of different outfits of the day with you. Something that didn't make it into that video is my favorite type of knitwear to wear with them, because it is just a touch early for super warm sweaters. I have been wearing this chenille sweater so much, and it's the perfect color to go with my tartan scarf from my new collection. So $15 from the purchase of every one of these scarves from my fall winter collection goes to the Women for Human Rights organization, which is an organization run by women for women in Nepal. And they're running a food bank right now, as well as a training program that is just going to be wonderful. It's going to educate at least 10 different women, focusing on teaching them skills to increase their employability. So I'm really excited to be working with them, and you guys already know about that collection, so I will leave it at that. But I did want to say a big thank you from myself and the WHR for all of your purchases so far. $15 from every individual scarf sold will go to the WHR. So I think as a result of that and just feeling that, I've been super into jewel tones and rich textures, and because I've been loving wearing these scarves, I don't want to wear something, you know, like super heavy underneath. So I've been loving silk shirts and I've been loving chenille sweaters. And this is a chenille sweater, you know, because it's a little bit more of an open kind of knit and it's not a natural fiber. It's a little bit lighter and not as warm as cashmere would be. You guys know I love cashmere. That has not changed. But I just love the color of this one. It's like this rich teal emerald. It's so pretty. It's got a cable knit detail, and you get all of that kind of like chunky texture without a lot of warmth, which is super nice at this time of the year. So all about jewel tones like that, and I really love pairing that with a contrasting color of earrings. I'm wearing my briolette earrings in the amethyst. And then for work from home right now, I've just been wearing a lot of sweatpants. So I'm just wearing some Wild Fox bottoms, which has always kind of been my favorite loungewear brand. For the want category, I feel like I've done a lot of my shopping, so I'm not adding a lot of new things to my closet other than the odd new fun sweater, things like that, because that's been kind of my uniform recently, is just comfy bottoms, you know, sweatpants, Lululemon pants, some soft and easy jeans, along with a nice kind of top or blouse on top. That's kind of been my uniform that works for me, and you can easily throw on a pair of heels to go out and just make it work for leaving the house when you occasionally do that, but it's super comfortable to wear indoors. Something I really do want to add is a new briefcase slash laptop bag, because I got this giant MacBook Pro a couple of months ago, which I love, and it doesn't fit in anything that I own, or if it fits, like it would fit in my Neverfull, but the skinny straps are just, it's a bad idea to do that on a regular basis, so I don't want to start getting into that habit. So I really need a nice briefcase, and I am open to suggestions for that. I've been browsing The RealReal and looking at Tumi and other brands like that that are known for being practical. Do you guys have a favorite? The watch category. I feel like this is that instant in time before we start getting into like Hallmark holiday movie season, and I'm watching Christmas movies, and just it's like a tunnel that spits me out in January. But right before I get into that, there are a few things that I've discovered that I feel like I have been so behind on that everyone else has seen, but I've been so enjoying, so I thought I would mention them. So If you've never watched The Mindy Show, my friend got me into it, and I am not a comedy show person at all. Everyone has inside jokes based on comedy shows like The Office that I just, right over my head. But The Mindy Show is so well written, and she's just so likable that I have gotten really into it. So I've watched a lot of that. And then I came across Practical Magic on Hulu, which I hadn't seen for years and years. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. They play witches, so it's the perfect like watch with a bowl of soup Halloween movie. It's just so cute. It's such a cute movie, and if you haven't seen it or you haven't seen it for a while, I highly recommend that you rewatch it. It's just a cute movie for this season. And then I don't know how I missed this, but I did, which is crazy because Richard Curtis is one of my favorite directors. Love Notting Hill, love Love Actually. I watch it with my mom every Christmas, but I never watched the series. Sort of, it's not a remake, it's just like a new spin on Four Weddings and a Funeral, and it's pretty good. It's not as good as all of the old rom-coms in my opinion. I feel like it could have ended a little bit better, you know, like Notting Hill just has such a grand end. It didn't have that, so it wasn't as good. But if you just want a cute series to watch with just a lot of cute heartwarming storylines along romantic lines, then definitely watch the Four Weddings and a Funeral series. A friend got me into that one as well. The way she got me to watch it, where I knew I was gonna watch it like as soon as I got home, is she told me that they remade the montage where Hugh Grant walks through Notting Hill along Portobello Road and the seasons change, and it's just so beautifully made. Like there's a woman as he walks along who gives birth and everything. They do a new version of that scene. It's really fun to kind of revisit a lot of those different scenes, but with a bit of a new modern vision of it. So that was really cute to watch. And then, like everyone else, I'm super pumped for Emily in Paris, which is coming out October 2nd. So maybe we can all watch that together. It's from Darren Star, so it should be reminiscent of Sex and the City, and I'm hoping it's that like really cute series to get us through October, and then we can all just completely overdose on holiday stuff. So originally I actually was going to sit down for a lattes and literature, but I don't have that many books to recommend, so I'm going to squeeze them all into this little read section that I always do. Usually I just mention one book, but we're going to do a couple this time. So if you only read one book this season and you are someone with a lot of varied interests, which I feel like people in my community, if you're an Elle Florence watcher, we're probably pretty like-minded, and you probably, you know, might have a creative side and an analytical side, or varied passions and interests and a multifaceted personality. Definitely read this. It is so interesting. So this book is called Range by David Epstein, and the thesis of the book is that to excel in the world, you do not need to be a specialist right off the bat, and that modern education definitely has an emphasis on choosing one lane and sticking to it for your whole life, which is underpinned by the idea that that's the only way you're ever going to be a leader in your field, is if you pick something, start early, and commit to it forever without variation. And that's something that I've definitely come across a lot in my career as a dominant perspective, and it's a perspective that doesn't fit my choices in life and my personality and how my brain works. And I've always known that, and I've always really gelled with people who have a similar take on education and development. And when I say education, I don't just mean high school, right? Like, you continue to learn new things all throughout your career with professional education, with your interests, with everything. So it's a lifelong journey. So the book's thesis is that generalists actually thrive more, but that the fields in which they thrive are not the ones that are always analyzed to prove the point that you need to specialize early. The examples that are often used, like being a chess master or virtuoso, often don't translate well to the sorts of problems that most of us are dealing with on a daily basis. So what he calls the wicked world, which really just refers to the idea that the real world that you are working in and trying to excel in is a series of surprises and chaotic events that you try and problem solve your way through, right? So one of his points here, which rather than paraphrasing, I will just read to you, is that generalists often find their path late and they juggle many interests rather than focusing on one. They're also more creative, more agile, and able to make connections their more specialized peers can't see. The most impactful inventors cross domains rather than deepen their knowledge in a single area. As experts silo themselves further while computers master more of the skills once reserved for highly focused humans, people who think broadly and embrace diverse experiences and perspectives will increasingly thrive. So he's not just trying to make this point for the sake of it because he considers himself a generalist or because, the audience that he speaks to may think of themselves as generalists as I do. Consider myself someone with very varied interests rather than just one lane that I've stuck to, but rather he uses a whole number of different examples from many different fields to really thoughtfully examine some of our assumptions about what creates success. This book is both my read of the month, and then I'm also going to dip into my final category, which is the success category. So if you are looking for a bit of a different perspective or something to re-energize your way of thinking about what creates success, then definitely give this book a read. I absolutely cannot recommend it enough to you. I also read Stoned, which is an economic perspective at the history of jewels. So when I say jewel, I mean precious stones, gemstones. Because I was right in the middle of putting together my Briolette collection, this book was just so on the ball. I just wish that it had delved a little bit deeper. So it talked a lot about the De Beers company and their marketing strategies, and also, the story where Manhattan was purchased for a string of beads. All pretty well known sort of stories, so I would have liked to see a few more things that surprised me, but maybe that is just very much about me and that I already had an interest in gemstones, so I already knew a little bit about all of those different stories, but it's still super well written. It's a really quick read as well, so if you want something that's just all about shinies and very lush and underpinned by some interesting economic perspectives, then it is the perfect book for you. If you want a longer, more laborious read, but one that is intensely interesting and from an author that I have so underappreciated, given that he was the chancellor of my university when I graduated in 2010, Bill Bryson, chancellor of Durham University. Such an intelligent man. He gave the most wonderful graduating speech that I still remember to this day about the architecture of Durham Cathedral and how you build something and what goes into that. It was just a very, very memorable speech that I'm super grateful for him giving. And nonetheless, despite how much I enjoyed that and how neat it was to have him as chancellor while I was there, I literally never picked up a single book of his. And I think that's because at the time I was reading law and I just didn't really have the energy for a heavy history book after reading all of those law cases for 3 years. And so I forgot about it and I never read any of his books. And I think as time has gone on as well, he's picked up a lot of different interests. And so this book, At Home, which is a short history of private life, so literally about the different rooms in homes and how they have come to be called what they are today. So for example, the history of a living room and all of the different ways that it's been used over time and how our concept of the modern home is so different than how homes used to be organized, which you will know if you've toured, historical properties either in the US or more likely in Europe, where there are still, really old homes that are preserved as they used to be lived in. But either way, whether you know about that or not, it's such an interesting book and it's so well written and super detailed. So make sure that you have the energy for that level of detail when you pick up this book, because it really is a very worthwhile read. And I honestly could see myself reading it again because I don't remember it that well because I read it in such small snippets. But it was really excellent, and it made me want to read more of his books now that I have read and appreciate his style of writing. So he's such a wonderful author. Definitely, consider him, and if you have an interest in history, then he is your man. Some easy beach style reads. I also read Nora Roberts's The Villa, which is all about a winery and a family squabblings over that property and who runs it. typical Nora Roberts style, can't go wrong. And then my mom gave me this Mary Higgins Clark book before lockdown, and I finally read it. It's Moonlight Becomes You. It's a super dated sort of romantic mystery, and I absolutely loved it. It just, you know, sometimes a nice whodunit like that is the perfect read for a rainy day, so highly recommend this one as well. And it has a nice twist at the end, very satisfying, as you would expect from Mary Higgins Clark. I'll try and keep the eat category comparatively short because I do have a food blog now where I share my recipes, so I don't need that category quite as much in this video, so I will just tell you to go check it out. I have a recipe for the best croutons you've ever had in your life, as well as a delicious healthy soup up there, and more coming soon, more fall recipes, so definitely check that out. I've been trying to take better photos and be more regular about posting on there as well. If you've never had homemade croutons, what are you waiting for? What was I waiting for? I never liked croutons before because they're disgusting when they come out of the bag, but if you make them at home and you make them right, oh, so good. They're like better than popcorn, and I could eat them like just as a snack. On a sweet note, sometimes I like to do like a little salty and sweet, so this is me doing that. This is very, very local. If you've never been to Bainbridge Island, it's the cutest place, accessible by ferry here in Seattle. And there is a business there called Bonbon Confections, which means candy in different languages, which is funny. But they have chocolate truffles, and I got myself a box. And if you ever had Godiva chocolate truffles, these remind me of that, but 25,000 times better, because this is actually a fudge place. So you can see how many I've eaten. This is marzipan, this is coconut, and I think this is like a coffee one. They're literally the best truffles I think I have ever had, and I've even had chocolate in Brussels and Switzerland. It's not better than that, but it's definitely better than any other chocolate truffle you can get in North America. And for those of you who are hating me right now because you don't live in Washington, they do have a website. They're sold out right now, but I think they're restocking very shortly. I'm gonna go buy more, and I think you should too. And then a new category. Yes, I'm gonna make this video longer by introducing a whole new category, but I feel like it's necessary. This series has been missing like a little something something. So I'm gonna introduce the ease category, where I'm gonna mention 1 or 2 practical items for the home that are unglamorous or like not super exciting, that I wouldn't really fit in any other video. First one is this dishwasher friendly mug that is oversized enough to fit the Nespresso large coffee capsules, which don't really fit in a normal mug. So this is my new beautiful ombre mug. So there's that, and I don't wash stuff by hand. I hate doing that, so it's really nice that it's dishwasher friendly. It doesn't have any gold on it or anything like that that's gonna get damaged. And I told you this was an unglamorous category, and I'm delivering on that. I got my cats the most expensive fancy litter box system known to man or available on the internet, and it's so great. The little things sometimes. It basically destroyed their previous litter box, and I know not all cats are fine sharing a litter box, but mine are. They're stuck at the hip, and I just change it more often. And so to make that changing experience a little bit more pleasant for me, and because they tear up any kind of bin liner that you put in there, it just doesn't work, I found this system online where they've created a fitted, it literally is like tailored to the litter box tarp system that goes on the inside. Makes it so much easier to change, but you can clean it and wipe it as well, so you don't have to change it all the time. It's just nice to be able to do it occasionally. And the whole thing is just really well made and durable. So I know it seems so expensive, and I knew about it for a while before I was ready to take the plunge. I'm so happy that I did. Just a part of life when you have cats, and buying this has made it so much more painless. And I can see that they're kind of like happy with it as well. So I know, gross, super gross. I can't believe I'm talking about my cat's toilet, but that's what this category is for. So we're just gonna go with it. For the succeed category, This has been such a hard year for so many people career-wise, no matter what you are doing with your time and what field of work you are in. It's been so tough for everyone. It's been tough for educators, it's been tough for parents, and it's been tough for everyone else as well. And so I just wish I could give you a virtual hug in the succeed category. And I just want to tell you to keep going and never give up, because it has been a year for me as well, getting adjusted to a new city. And I am finally ready to wrap up this year feeling like I have truly started a new beginning successfully and made Seattle my home. And so I just wanted to share the message with you that it is never too late in life to start fresh somewhere new, in a new career path, whatever kind of change you are trying to make. If you really, really want it, it might be 20 times more difficult than you think it will be, especially if a worldwide pandemic hits, but it's still doable. So I really did enjoy that book, Range. If you've been looking for something to just give you a little bit of that underpinning of encouragement, if you feel like you don't necessarily fit the mold that might be expected of you in your career path, then I think Range would be a great read for you. Or just give yourself that reassurance that if you want something badly enough and you stick to it and you are willing to start fresh and never give up, good things will come to you. I really believe that. So I hope you're all staying well. I really had fun doing this super casual video for you. I hope that you are having a good fall season so far. More fall style to come on this channel, so definitely give this video a like and subscribe if you would like to see that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.